Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Onward VR Master League. My name is NightFiree. I am here with my co-caster, Noman. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, NightFiree. Thanks for asking. Happy to be here.
Excellent, yeah. Yeah, we got a good one on our hands. Coming up is Ember versus SMC Tactical. What are your thoughts on this this matchup today?
Ember's an up-and-comer. I'm excited. I mean, they've been coming up this season. They made a quick turnaround. They had a couple of difficult games in the beginning of the season. They made a few key pickups, Craze being one of them, and Durafen right around the mid-season point. And ever since then, they've been on a great climb. And SMC is about the same story. They struggled a little bit, and they're back to where we sort of expect them to be. And so I think this is gonna be a great matchup. What do you think is gonna be coming out of this?
Yeah, they've been. I don't know. They won against Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken, or did they? They beat you guys last week, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and so I mean, I know that was a very close series, but they still are that one of those top tier teams that just doesn't give up, so I don't think this is going to be an easy match for Ember by any means. SMC Tactical, one of those OC5 contenders as well, and they haven't had too many roster shakeups. That their roster has been pretty consistent all the way through. If you want to go ahead and dive in, take a look at I don't know, who are they running. They don't have anyone in yet. But we can look at their full roster. It is a diverse one. Sickness, Brass to Mouth, Captain Soda, Edna Jordan, Landon Jordan, Mr. Beefy, and Pone Cake. And they're not afraid to use those subs. Like, they'll bring in Soda for a map for LMG support,
Yeah, they've definitely they've been noted to do that a lot. I mean, the many times we've played them, even in scrims, they'll do that. It's pretty rare for teams to rotate out like that in scrims. But yeah, they're very good about that.
Yeah, they make sure to get everyone in their practice there. And then on the other side, we do have Ember, the up-and-coming team, formed this last season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yeah, season 6. And on that is Rob, Durafen, Craze, Milkman, Powerhouse, Quoko, and Riley. And I mean, there's another strong squad too. You can definitely be subbing out any one of those members. I mean, their core 5's definitely... Well, I don't know. You would know Ember better, right? They're a sister team from Phoenix, aren't they?
Not Phoenix. Inferno is what you're thinking.
Oh,
Phoenix
okay.
We haven't been able to get Phoenix into the fold, although that is a fire-based team we'd like to get. Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is. It's the fire. It's the flames that are. It's the fire that confuses me.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, their starters are generally speaking. I mean, I won't speak to everybody that they started.
Well, yeah, we can look at it right here. They got their 5 in lobby.
Yeah, so they've got Rob, Craze, Durafen, Quokka, and Milkman as their starters today. But yeah, they definitely rotate as necessary. I think they're all very strong. They've been, like I said, putting in a lot of work these last couple of weeks, and it's been great watching them come up and get those victories and chase Blaze up the leaderboard. I'm happy to have them up there with us.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's fun to see these newer teams being so competitive. I'm really interested to see if we're going to have any new strategies from Ember today, if they're going to break out anything unique that we haven't seen before, considering, they have some... I mean, we saw some... Just yesterday, we had one new player per team, and we were seeing some new strats that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, and that's, I think, definitely something to expect. I think they've been preparing a lot for this SMC match. This is one of their first, big, like, sort of top 10... versus team games this season, and I think they've been putting in the work behind it and studying their tapes. I imagine SMC's done no less than that as well. So yeah, I would not be surprised to see some new stuff coming out from both sides.
Just kind of going over the pick bans before we hop into this match. Coming out from SMC, it is that Subway ban, and coming out of Ember, it is Suburbia. Pretty smart bans. I think Suburbia is probably a pretty wise choice there to be knocking out from SMC's roster. They do play that one pretty well. Cargo is definitely going to be a risk, though. I'm assuming that's going to be in one of our 3 maps today.
Oh, I can't imagine it won't be. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be having Bazaar as the first map, which, you know, I'm used to seeing Bazaar usually towards the end of a match. It's usually the deciding map, but apparently Ember feels strong in their position on it, and I think that's going to be interesting to watch. Cargo is definitely going to be
Yeah.
a really exciting one to watch. That one I'm looking forward to. If it doesn't get picked, I
would be very surprised.
Yeah, very much.
We are going to get this south objective. It is one that can be played pretty quick. If Ember, I don't know, if SMC aren't ready for it, Ember can really kind of charge in here with some point smokes and be on top of the objective in a heartbeat.
Definitely. I think the spawn definitely matters. I think there's something to be said about the west spawn having sort of a stronger Marsoc, I wouldn't say advantage necessarily, but just kind of a stronger push from that side, a little bit faster to get to the objective. And the key is really just being able to cross the street, you know, lay down your smokes and your frags in the right spots. And yeah, it can definitely go either way very, very quickly, like you said.
Yeah, and I would also just like to, before we get into the round, make sure that we shout out to Twitch chat to make sure that you're clipping any highlights, any high-action plays, good stuff you like, quick shots, anything like that, double kills. Make sure you're clipping that so that we can go back and sort of build highlight reels out of it.
Absolutely. Stay active, guys. And we are jumping right into the first round of this first map of Bazaar, Ember versus SMC. Ember getting that, not quite the aggressive spawn, but we'll see what they manage to do with it. They're doing a 2-3 split, 3 going towards the middle, and 2 going to be coming down that east side.
Yeah, and you can see Landon here doing his normal aggressive Volk defense, pushing very fast over to the east. He's going to be looking to catch out this east approach. Durafen with an early frag on the Sickness as he tried to cross over to his aggressive spot. Landon did manage to get to where he needed to go, but Sickness did not, and so now they're in a 4v5.
Pwnecake does manage to find Rob there in the Bazaar, and Landon does pick up Durafen as well.
Yeah, there's the east push, dead. Completely shut down. Craze finds Pwnecake. Some good shots out of him. Just sort of peeking up on that 2-story.
Yeah, and I think Captain Soda is keeping an eye on him, looking in that area, trying to get that pick. Mr. Beefy, meanwhile, up in that, surprised he's up in that scaffolding.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous position usually. But he does manage to make it work and grab another pick for SMC, bringing it to a 3-on-2 with a revive possible on the SMC side.
Yeah, Sickness down there. He's still resable and radioing in information. The res probably not going to come out, and whoever's in the middle there, looks like Milkman. He should be able to hear that.
Yeah, and I'm curious what his decision here is going to be, if he's going to be rotating back out and trying to find a different method of getting to this objective, especially if he does hear Sickness, or if he's just going to try to push through and make that middle push happen.
I had a lot of quick trades here, and we're into a 3v2 now. Milkman should be able to be here. Sickness, I mean, he should be able to. He's not crouching slow enough for he's silent.
Yeah, and there goes the call out from Sickness. If he hadn't done it before, they definitely know where he is now, and he's got to be real careful about his choices here.
Yeah, he does.
We've got Landon actually rotating back towards the objective now, hearing that call out, knowing he doesn't have to watch that east side quite as closely, and we're getting a nice tight circle on the objective by SMC here.
Ooh, Beefy pushes up. Sickness gets rezzed. Milkman looking for the shots. He's peeking out through the wood. He finds Sickness. That's information for Beefy. Instantly picked up and refragged. SMC grabbed that first round.
That was a really tight defense by SMC. I'm really surprised that that they took some of the spots that they took. I would not have expected, I mean, more specifically, that scaffolding as a pick.
Yeah, I've seen them go with more aggressive Volk defense. It's been working out quite well for them. They do manage to catch out, you know, quite a few picks because there's just these lingering, you know, they're unexpected positions. You know, to be up on that scaffolding for Sickness push to be out in that by that the cement bricks there on defense is so rare. You're never gonna cross that middle street, and so it's just, you know, they're sneaky little spots.
Yeah, and they tend to rotate. I've noticed they definitely
yeah.
don't use the spots more than, you know, once or twice per map in a game, and that's you know, kudos to them to having those kinds of plays and that kind of flexibility when it comes to adjusting against the teams they play.
Yeah, they are very good at reacting. If they lose one early, they can rotate nicely. You saw that res ending up coming out on the Sickness, and although not necessary, you know, they make sure to go for those pickups. And you'll see some teams just abandon a res sometimes, you know. Someone goes down and they just don't put the effort into picking up that teammate, and it's not something you'll see from SMC.
Yeah, definitely, and it's gonna send us into our next round. Same objective, and we're gonna get the west spawn for SMC this time. We'll see how they attack this. I'm curious to see how they try to make this cross and what Ember's gonna do to try to stop them. And this is round 2, map 1 for those of you just tuning in.
Oh my gosh, Beefy with an early pick out there. That's that aggression we were talking about, SMC catching Milkman. He is resable though. Quokka not going to go for that res. This is one of those moments here where Milkman probably won't be able to get picked up for a while.
Yeah, if at all. That's a very dangerous spot to try to run out to,
oh my
especially.
Gosh. The smokes are out.
Yeah, this entire street, Sickness is using that smoke as its cover, trying to get a pick on somebody in that objective building. Durafen is there, but he's not lending himself to any easy picks just yet.
A little window being blocked by the pillars, so just line of sighting that angle here.
And we did have 3 members now of SMC make it across the street to the objective side.
You have 2 in the middle too, just applying that pressure. This is that strong coordinated push from SMC. We'll see if Ember can defend it. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, there's definitely some motion back there, and Captain Soda does find Quok on a rotation.
Ooh, he picks up another there, trading with Craze. Rob finally finding the frag on the backside, but that's 2 for him, and the push is coming out.
Durafen managing to hold back Sickness as he approached from that center street. And we're down to a 2-on-3 with a res available on Ember to make it a 3, but he is in a pretty dangerous position to try to get that res.
Yeah, Ponecake's dialed in there. Grabbed Rob, looking right at Durafen. He's stuck basically inside objective building now.
Oh, he does manage to rotate out. Taking some shots on land, and they don't land. A little bit of...
Oh, Beefy with the nade in!
Oh, and it does down Duran. SMC takes the round. Wow.
I mean, that might have looked friendly to you, but that looked like baiting to me. Landon was trying to keep him there on the corner as Beefy came in with a nade and ultimately got that Marsoc win. They go up 2-0.
Yeah, and that's, you know, it doesn't mean it's not friendly. It's just got some sinister applications.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that window there, impenetrable glass, for those that may be curious as to why they weren't shooting each other, but I think there's only like, there's very few spots that have that glass, that type of glass on windows.
Yeah, that might actually be the first time I've seen someone try to shoot through that window, actually, now that I think about it.
It is very rare just because of the angle. It's like the possibility that you'd be spotting somebody there is basically the only angle that you get out of where that trade happened.
Yeah, and that is well played by SMC to wrap up that round. They were definitely applying that pressure from the bazaar, and it was clearly working, keeping the team from being able to res Milkman. Not that they necessarily knew that he was down, but just keeping that lane clear and not letting Ember do any, crazy rotations or any flanks. It's a really, really strong push from SMC.
And take a look at the KD here too. It's spread out nicely for that throughout that SMC squad. Soda grabbing a couple that last round, so he's up 3-1. Ponecake doing some work as well. Sickness struggling, the team captain, 0-2.
He tends to find his stride sooner rather than later. Sure, we haven't seen the last of him.
Yeah, we will see. He's been doing a lot of leading from the ground anyway. A lot of comms as once he's down. He seems to never be insta killed, which is interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if he's running ballistic vest or something similar.
That's true.
Be curious to know. But we are going to see the small mini market objective this time around, and SMC is going to try to defend it against Ember's center spawn, and we'll see how they decide to approach this.
Yeah, Quokka and Milkman probably the ones that are going to run into action the soonest here. If Soda decides to peek that 2-story anymore, Sickness actually the one to find the pick there in that window. That's an insanely risky pick there where Sickness is, to be peeking around that corner.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've seen him there. That is a spot he does like. I've been caught by that more than once myself, and it does pay off for him this time. It was a great headshot, too, at that distance.
I mean, he's super vulnerable from his east here. Craze is going to have an easy shot on Sickness. He's missed one. Sickness almost got the refrag, but he's confirmed. Now it's going to be up to Landon to deny this approach here. He's going to toss out a smoke or a frag, not sure.
And it looks like Rob is going to use that opportunity and confusion to move up across the street and get closer to Captain Soda's position. See if we can...
Oof. Yeah, if he might... I don't think he'll be able to catch him there. Soda is moving, so I think Rob might be able to hear him shuffling around on those steps there. Oh, some shots out. Rob also shooting, finding Soda on the bottom. That's one for him.
Yeah, and that's a common stairwell to check these days. A lot of people like to be up there watching for that blue room objective building window and that cross across the street, so not entirely surprised.
Landon here. I mean, this is also... I mean, these spots are real risky that SMC has been taking up. He is covered, but I mean, that's wood and easily penetrable. As soon as they know he's there, he's going to have to get that kill quick.
Yeah, and he keeps peeking up over it, which is usually you don't see that in that spot. There's a way to see through the slats and keep yourself low and, wait it out, but it does pay off for him as he picks up Craze with a headshot as he rotates out from that wall on the west-hand side, leaving Quokka all by himself to try to make that push.
I'm surprised Quokka didn't peek out for the refrag there. I mean, especially now, he should have an idea Landon's here. Maybe he's too nervous to peek up and look over. Either way, the middle approach is happening. It's a 3v3. Robs finds some shots towards Landon. Those aren't confirmed, though. Ember in a 2v3 now. A nice frag from Ponecake.
And Rob getting aggressive there, and it's not paying off as Ponecake and Beefy were both watching that ingress, and now it's all up to Quokka crawling up the street, trying to get into this little market, but Landon is rotating back and taking up his post again. We'll see if there's anything he can do.
That is just really, that's discipline right there, you know. I mean, he has confirmed over and over again that he's got Craze dead and no one else is over here. But he rotates back to his position just to make sure. Quokka finds that rotation, though. Now it's a 1v2. Can he clutch it? Ponecake might find that corner frag.
A risky time to peek out, especially when bullets are coming out towards you.
He has all the time in the world, too. 2.5 minutes. No rush. He's going to challenge Ponecake here. Wow, the headshot.
And a beautiful shot to take out Ponecake. What great awareness. And now it's just a 1v1. If he'd actually gone through the mini market, there's a good chance he might even be able to get in without Beefy being able to see him. I'm surprised Beefy's not rotating back to objective, considering he is the last one alive.
Yeah, taking a look at Beefy. He does have the angle on that corner, so maybe he just feels comfortable covering here. He spots Quokka out, though. Denies that potential comeback from Ember.
A great round by Quokka there, almost bringing that back. It was a 1v3, and he manages to bring it back to a 1v1. But SMC defense holds.
That was a nice attempt from him. I think, I don't know, maybe Quokka just rotating a little bit too late. You know, if he had tried to go up with the rest of his squad, there might have been a pinch available there.
Yeah, not getting that refrag after Craze goes down on Landon definitely hurt them a little bit as well. If he'd have gotten that pick a little bit earlier, they would have been weaker on that west side, and maybe who was that picked off Rob? Pwnecake may not have been in that pickup truck spot to pick up Rob at that point. So definitely something that could have gone a little bit differently, but it is what it is.
Speaking of Pwnecake, looking at his KD, he's 5-2. Definitely feeling good this round. This map, rather.
Yeah, and we're going into our 4th round here, hoping to see a defensive stop on Ember. This is a good time to rally, much like we were talking about in the game earlier today with Sleepy. Not uncommon to see teams come back from an 0-3 and either tie it up or even win the series. So see if their defense can hold.
Yeah, this is pretty obviously a must-win, but I mean, if you go, even losing 4-1, that's such a better result than 4-0. You know, you're able to go into that next map with at least being on the board. To get shut out is tough. The momentum there is really lacking.
Yeah, it's definitely a blow to morale, and I'm surprised that, considering their position, they picked such aggressive spots, but maybe SMC won't be expecting that kind of aggression being this far up.
Raises nade here, prepping it for Soda, tosses it out.
Soda hears it and does not get caught out.
Ooh, Craze tried to push off that frag and rotated to the window, but Sickness waiting for him. Actually, I think that was Beefy.
Yeah, that was Beefy catching him from across the street, actually, on a very tight angle into the window.
Really tight. I mean, confirmed there from Craze. They do have the information, though. 3 are over here. We'll see if Ember rotate their defense.
Durafen's actually staying distracted here by Pwnecake and has allowed a couple of people to run past him while he's focusing on the stairs.
They are fully in here. Durafen finds Pwnecake, though. That's a nice shutdown. Landon looking for the refrag. You heard those shots. I'm surprised no one else is looking for the refrag. Soda with his back to the enemy.
I think Beefy's rotating back to try to find it as well. And SFC gets the cap.
What?
Oh, Sickness snuck into the smoke while
wow.
we were watching.
I was watching the action, and they had the smokes on objectives. Sickness proned his way up to corner, and SMC go up 5-0.
Holy cow. That was a surprise, I am sure, not to just Ember. That was a surprise to us
No,
as
that
well.
was a surprise to us. I did not catch that cap. You said SMC cap, and I was like, wait, we were just having a fight here. What do you mean?
Oh, that's a shame. But yeah, wow. What a great round for SMC Tactical that time around. Ember not quite able to find any purchase in that defense or that offense side. Whew.
Yeah, we're off to a bit of a punishing start here. SMC definitely proving they deservedly sit in the top 10, you know?
Yeah.
Here, we got that cargo map we were talking about for map number 2.
Yeah, and no one is surprised. You know? Who knew? So what do you think is gonna happen here?
This is kind of Ember's chance, you know, if they can manage to play a bit faster than SMC, they have potential to win some rounds here. Because I know Ember is good on cargo. You know, they're no slouches. SMC also very good on cargo. So like, I feel like out of any map here, Bazaar, I'd almost would think SMC would win. Cargo, though, I think is more of a toss-up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it definitely, when you see two aggressive teams butt heads like this, I think one of the biggest factors is equipment usage. You know, who can get those smokes down in the right spots, who can get the flashes down to clear rooms, who can throw the frags, you know, with the air bursts. That's really what it comes down to, because just simply running through and shooting people is one thing, but to give your other teammates an advantage by using that equipment, I think, is what decides this. So yeah, it absolutely, I think, is going to be a very close map, and we'll see what happens.
On the point of equipment, I guess we should be probably mentioning this is not on the new patch. A lot of changes have come in from that new patch, but we are not on that here. So you'll see the default 6.5 minute or 6 minute 20-second rounds, and there's no infinite. You can't just do whatever you want with your guns, and now the attachments are very much how they used to be. So we're still on that old build. Things have changed, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But I am excited to cast those games and to play in those games as well, and tested a little bit of the equipment out yesterday, and yeah, there's going to be some exciting stuff, let me tell you.
And I don't think I've ever had one of these happen in a league cast before, but I guess we're going to do a timeout. Ember here taking a timeout, and we'll be back, I think, in a roughly 5 to 10 minutes. So I think we'll just leave you here on the scoreboard with some music. We'll take a little break, grab some water, and we should be back to the action shortly. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if I startled you with my deep, booming, bassy voice, but the match is going to start again. Our timeout has concluded. Ember opting in for that little break there. Not surprising after a 5-0 loss.
Yeah, you gotta, kind of collect your thoughts and rethink your strats and figure out what you're gonna be doing differently. Trying to learn on the fly from what happened in that last round and adapting. And yeah, I'm hoping they come out a little bit stronger this time. This map is definitely, it lends to some pretty exciting plays, and I think a little bit of preparation beforehand never hurt us.
Yeah, very true. And I do wonder if Ember maybe drew out some strats here for Cargo, because I don't know. I feel like I've never seen a timeout taken in a competitive league match. And I don't know why, because frankly, if you do have a stomp like that, or if you lose a map and you want to really come in with something prepared for this, you would take that timeout.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams tend to save the timeouts as resolve a technical issue, or somebody has a disconnect, and I think a lot of teams are scared to lose that timeout to something like creating strats or, discussing what they're going to be doing on the map. I think that it's just a systemic thing rather than people don't know that they can do it.
That's a very good point. Maybe there's some room there for a technical timeout and a tactical timeout.
Yeah, definitely an extra, maybe a 2-minute, 3-minute, rather than the full 10 or 15.
Either way, we won't be waiting around any longer. We're going to hop into our first round on this second map. SMC Tactical versus Ember, firing it up on Cargo here.
All right. And it looks like we have got that southeast objective, one of the more difficult objectives to cap on. So many little nooks and crannies the defense can hide in. It's one of the more recessed objectives on this map.
Oh, the cross. That cross is so risky with that smoke where it didn't land where they needed it to. They're really lucky they got a cross there.
Yeah. Landon's able to find Rob
looking for more.
In a risky position. Yeah, and Sickness is going to be... Sickness is going to be coming through that tunnel any minute now.
Yeah, he's got that nade out. He's ready to toss it towards Quokka inside that room. Craze finds Beefy over there trying to push that west side, but we're focused on this trade that's going to happen inevitably. The nade comes out towards Quokka. Is he tucked on the wall enough? He is. Quokka's going to try and answer back with a nade of his own. I think I heard the pin pull. Craze finds Pwnecake. The nade comes out. It goes behind Sickness. He crouches in time. Quokka kills Quokka with that nade.
I'm not sure how that happened. That grenade did not look like it was next to Quokka,
you would think the nade that Sickness threw would have killed Quokka instead of that grenade, but regardless, some trades happening in the center. Craze getting a little aggressive and some reses for SMC. It's a 4v3.
Yeah, and we're seeing SMC retreat back towards their spawn, regroup a little bit after losing one of their members, actually, and trying to find a different way to approach this objective.
Sickness in the middle with the shield. And I mean, yeah, I guess they're not going to opt to try and go in that backside like you normally would on this objective. Normally you want to take that far south side of the map and rotate around that way. Durafen might be able to find Sickness here if he keeps pushing up.
Does throw a few bullets that way. They don't find Purchase. He forces a rotation. Captain Soda picks him up, and then Quokka gets that quick refrag. We're down to a 3v2.
Oh, Milkman getting picked up by Landon. It's a 1v2 now. Quokka suppressed back here by Pwnecake. He realizes he's the last alive, and he starts crashing towards objective. Sickness is trying to get another cap. Pwnecake frags Quokka. They go up 1-0.
Yeah, and there was a communication breakdown there. You may have heard the teammates talking about it at the end. You got to let your teammates know when you're going to cap, because There's really no way to know when somebody's in position to do that, and the teams usually have to find a way to communicate that. And in this case, they do get the round win, but not quite the round win they may have wanted.
That would have been kind of ridiculous. Back-to-back caps.
Yeah, and that would have not done anything amazing for Ember's morale. I will say that as well.
That is for certain. We talk about momentum a lot when we talk about these league matches. It's definitely a factor, and SMC ride it very well. They are looking very good. I'm expecting, frankly, another shutout out of them this map.
Well, I got to root for my Ember guys. Little bit of that caster bias coming through, a little bit of the team bias, but I want it to be a good, fair game. I think
I do too. I'd like to see Ember kind of turn it on here. I feel like they've been close. They've been getting those picks. They've had a couple 1v1s, 1v2s. They've been on the cusp of catching the wins they need, but so far it's been a complete shutout. 6 points unanswered for SMC Tactical.
Yeah, the SMC side of the house has been very strong on refrags, which is, a huge component in keeping that momentum during the round, not just during the game. And that Ember's got to find a way to break it. They've got to move together as a unit and make a change here.
Some pretty good smokes here. Sickness with one right into that little second room. He is getting aggressive in this lane, and he does manage to push up. He's really forward here. I'm surprised he managed to get up there like that.
Flash coming out towards Craze does not land. Landon Jordan finding Rob on that far west side.
Nade coming out up and over. Finds Milkman. Now Sickness pushing up here. He's going to look for Craze. The shots are out and they miss. Craze here in a little bit of an engagement.
Griffin does manage to get the res on Milkman.
Griffin has to peek this. I wonder if Sickness heard the comms. He did. He tried to rotate around and find Griffin, but Craze takes that opportunity. Grabs himself one. SMC in a 2v5 situation here.
I think Captain Soda may have just disconnected from the game. He was in the middle and he disappeared while trying to come out that doorway. I think there may have been a drop on the SMC side.
Very fortunate one at that for Ember. It's exactly what they need. It kind of puts them in the advantage. They're in a 3v2 now. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, he's playing so aggressive. He's full sprinting here, just looking for anything as he quick peeks these angles. So risky.
Yeah, I think he may think there are more down than there are, and I'm not sure that he knows that one of his teammates dropped. I think he may still be working on the assumption that.
I think I did hear him say, "Oh shit, I think we've dropped one." So I think he's aware.
Okay.
I saw him check the pad at the very least. A nice nade right into that. I mean, that's right on point, almost inside that window, or inside the doorway. Not quite enough.
Milkman finds Beefy on that rotation. Pwnecake, though, with the refrag. I mean, he has been on point with the refrags in this game so far, and he does manage to pick that one up, bringing it to a 2-on-1. And it's looking like he is going to try to deny the cap as best he can.
Yeah, it's really odd that he's playing like this, considering he's defending. I don't know why he was looking for the kills. I guess, like we were saying, he's feeling that confidence, but it allows Ember to tie it up 1-1. They're on the board now.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest factors there was he did not want there to be a cap. That's one of the worst things that can happen is you get a cap, you're riding high, and then the other team answers back immediately with with a cap against you, and that can really take the wind out of your sails. And I think Pwnecake made the right decision there and being a little bit more aggressive and forcing a kill win rather than a cap win.
I'd love to see Ember sort of ride this momentum a little bit, They can, like I said, I think they can outpace SMC just a little bit. They can get the momentum on their side. There's potential for them to be able to come back on this map. I don't know where we go for our third one. Maybe Downfall?
Ooh, I think Quarantine. I think Quarantine would be the map. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
SMC
that's
has been picking that lately too. So,
Yeah, it would not be their pick. It would be Ember's pick. But
mm,
I think that Ember does feel strong on quarantine. I'm not sure if they feel strong on quarantine versus SMC necessarily, but
right.
if I would venture a guess, I would say they would pick Q1 over Downfall pretty much any day of the week.
Okay. Well, I like to hear. I wouldn't mind us some bit more close quarters combat, and what we're getting right now. Starting off our third round of this second match. Oops, that's the wrong one we're looking for, everybody.
Yeah, we've got the far north objective this time. Definitely a little bit, I wouldn't say easier, but a little bit more restrained of an objective. You can, there's really only two ways to get to it, you know.
Oh my
wow, and Landon
gosh.
Jordan so quickly downing Durafan on his cross.
Rob answering back, though, found Sickness pretty early in the middle. Sickness getting aggressive there. Beefy with Quokka, and there are just early frags everywhere. This is that aggression trying to counter aggression, you know?
Yeah, and it's I'm surprised that we haven't seen as much equipment usage as I would have expected. And as I say that, Landon tosses a grenade on Jordan's Crazy's position and does manage to down him. What a great grenade that was. Meanwhile, Captain Soda and Rob trade. Trade downs Rob is still revivable.
I wonder if Milkman will have that same sort of savviness that Ponecake had to deny the cap, because there are all sorts of options if they smoke it effectively. Beefy can push in and cap on a corner. Milkman really has to be on his toes.
And on his toes he is, and puts Beefy on his back very quickly with a headshot clear across the map. Great shot by Milkman, and it's down to a 1v2 with a revive available. Ponecake moving up on Milkman's position, however. And he's getting pinched here by the two remaining Marsac members. Not sure if he's going to hear Ponecake coming around this corner.
No, he's really not looking there. Ponecake playing it quietly. He should catch him in the back. He does. SMC Tactical grabbing a Marsoc round to go up 2-1.
Milkman did have the right idea, though. He was in a position where, yes, he may have been exposed to the enemy, but there was no cap happening there. He was watching the two lanes to get in, the one clear on the west side, and obviously the ingress behind him was not a way to get in, and he does deny the cap and only gives 1 point up to SMC.
And I think we got to highlight Landon Jordan's performance on Cargo right now. 7-2. With a lot of those early picks, like first 10-second picks. He's catching out these crosses almost every round.
Yeah, it's those are very difficult shots, and you know it's something I practice myself fairly frequently, trying to get those early picks, getting the timing down, trying to catch rotations, especially players that tend to make the same choices game after game. You want to capitalize on that kind of rigidity as the opposing team, and no matter how much you practice, it's a very difficult shot to make. So good on him for landing those today, and yeah, really showing up for his team.
Yeah, we'll see if Ember can answer back. They definitely have a bit of a challenge here as they go into this Marsoc round. I expect sort of a similar approach from SMC Tactical, probably some pretty forward Volk positions and some early shots. They just can't let that trade happen again. I think they have to abandon the cross or smoke it properly.
Those smokes are tough to land. I mean, if you wait them out too long, sometimes the smokes don't even matter, to be honest.
Yeah.
If your pre-fire's on point, you know your positioning. Smoke is not, it's not a wall.
What happens? It does look like that is a pretty on-point smoke this time.
Or as on point as it is, it's not going to be utilized. Captain Soda picking up Rob very quickly from the beginning again. And these early picks are just raining down round after round.
Yeah, they are probably what's costing Ember these rounds here. To lose one so early not only demoralizes the squad, obviously puts you at a pretty big disadvantage. You lose that utility unless you go scavenge the body. Sickness in his trademark position behind these boxes. They really have this lane covered. Comes a nade.
Nate had the right idea, but doesn't find the right purchase. And looks like the homework wasn't quite completed by Terrafena down on Milkman by Beefy. Another very long toss. Jeez.
Look at this push now. Soda, Sickness, they're converging. Some picks came out, and all of a sudden they're crashing in on objective. Craze finds one on the push. Is he expecting Sickness here on the corner? He's not. The last member alive. And they know where he is. The call out one in tunnel.
Yeah, and Ponecake's going to be trying to capitalize on that. It doesn't pan out for him as he comes around that corner a little too loud and a little too quickly. And just you and me cut it off is the call out from Sickness. And cut it off they shall try. Quokka trying for a reach frag there. Doesn't quite pan out for him. And that's such a stressful situation to be in. You know, you can hear them calling you out. You can hear the bullets coming from both sides. You don't know which way to look. It's not a situation you want to be in.
Yeah, I think he realizes he's the last one alive. Sickness. I mean, he hears all this shifting about now. He should have his eyes pretty much drawn on this one entry point.
Hey, buddy, you're fucking stuck in there.
Wow. And a little bit of taunting coming out from the SMC side towards Ember.
Yeah, I think they heard those crouching too. Landing comes out quickly, finds Quokka. SMC go up 3-1.
That is, yeah. I would say friendly again, though
Yeah.
I don't believe that that one was particularly friendly. Definitely like a rabbit in a trap there.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of hosed. They had both X's covered, and I mean, unless Landon got caught there, Quokka was stuck. He did do good to catch Soda on that rotation though, and almost made it out. But it's tough once you're trapped and you're the last one inside that tunnel. Your options obviously become very limited.
Yeah, and the two positions that the Volk defenders had taken up were pretty much perfect. Watching the exit back towards the spawn, there was no way he was going to be able to make that building. Well, I suppose if you ran quick enough, you might be able to jump frames or something. But yeah, very risky either way, and does not pan out for Ember this time. But we do we do have a defensive round coming up, so I have
Sure.
I still have a good feeling about the way that Ember's going to be able to defend this. This is not going to be their first defensive win of this map. And I'm hoping we can get it to a 3-2 here.
That'd be nice. Keen in on the KDs again. Landon still staying alive. That round goes 9-2 now. He's going to be pushing a 10 KD if he finds any kills this last round. Oh, what could be the last round if SMC grab it.
And this is a dangerous one for Ember. They've got to be very careful here. This is one of the fastest capped objectives, I think, that that this map, or really any map, has.
Yeah. Proper smokes supplied. You can completely shut out vision onto it. And, I mean, there's such... It's just a hard peeking... Like, you have to hard peek all the corners. So you just get chaos once anybody starts to breach this central area on these cargo bits, so... I know SMC, they do play this one fast.
Yeah, and I think that of all of the objectives, this one has the most pre-fire requirements. You know, coming around corners with your gun up and sending bullets in directions that you may normally not want to give away your position on. And while we're waiting for this round to start, just a quick reminder again to the Twitch people, make sure you're clipping this stuff. Very, very good plays coming out from both sides. More clips, the better for us, and you know, make some highlight reels and showcase the best of this league.
Also, shout out to those donating bits. Much appreciated. I think we are running into a touch of a tech issue here for SMC's side. That's kind of what we're talking about earlier. Maybe this is when you're going to want your timeout. SMC might have to opt in. Landon's going to do a quick PC restart, so that'll give us some time to sort of talk about what we've seen so far today.
Yeah, I think Bazaar was kind of a surprise to me. I didn't expect it to go quite that quickly into that good night. But yeah, definitely a strong SMC showing on both sides of that map. With that sneaky cap, even sneaking past the casters this time around.
You know, I just thought it would be a lot tighter. Ember's been such a strong new team. They've put up really good matches against squads that have been around for a while. And I'm curious if maybe it's Ember just not playing up to their abilities, or if SMC have sort of stepped it up after that last match against Phoenix being so close.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past SMC to definitely turn it on, turn it up to 11, as it were.
And I know they've been putting in a lot of work. I see them pretty consistently getting online together in Onward almost nightly now. So they're definitely putting in the time, maybe even equivalent to that global camp was put in.
Yeah, definitely. And there's something to be said for some of the members on Ember having wildly smaller amounts of hours in Onward and as a team together. They're still up and coming. I think they've been able to find a nice groove together, but there is something to be said for having a couple hundred hours on your opponents.
Yeah,
and having that awareness.
We were sort of expecting this to be their first sort of real test. We were talking about the series earlier offline, and I think you mentioned this is kind of the first time Ember's facing off against a top 10 team, and so they're sort of getting their test here. I don't know. They just have to. We'll see what they can do. If they can get a couple rounds here, they can keep in on this cargo map and potentially grab a few more in that next one and have a close scoring series.
Yeah, definitely. And the distance in the standings isn't too far. The hit isn't really the end of the world for Ember. It's a learning experience, if nothing else.
Yeah.
They're gonna take something away from it at the very least.
That's very true.
And a win would be obviously the best, but experience is equally as important.
Yeah, it's kind of dangerous, kind of scary to think what Ember can do by getting experience off these top tier teams, because they have learned so well and adapted so well to climb the ladder. Now they're sort of getting up to that next tier. Really curious to see if they sort of evolve as a squad to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that playing those kinds of teams comes as a shock initially. And speaking from experience.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those lower tier teams, not knocking anybody and anybody's experience in the game, but there's definitely, a tick above once you climb into that sort of top 15, top 10 range, because those teams do put in the hours, they put in the work, they put in the thought, and it shows. Yeah, it's definitely, it takes a bit of a mindset shift to be able to get into that sort of groove, and I think that so far they've been doing okay. We've been going down to 1v2s, 1v1s occasionally here. They're not too far behind, but yeah, SMC's definitely been capitalizing on the little mistakes.
Yeah, they've been playing confidently too. I mean, Pancakes play here on Cargo, he is just so aggressive. Hey, look at their KDs. I guess Landon dropping and resetting, he's back down to a 0-0, but he sort of has been carrying the team. If Ember can just find that pick on Landon early, things could get interesting. They have the potential to sort of roll over the rest of SMC.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is I have not seen a ton of well-placed frags on the Ember side just yet. I think if one of those grenades does manage to find some purchase early on in the round, and manage to sort of shake up the SMC war machine, I think that that's what they need. That's what they need to get back into this. And a defensive round is a great way to start. After this little break that they're going to have, and hopefully they can find something that's special sauce and take this cargo round.
Yeah, they have definitely had some time to cook up strats on this map, and taking that time out going into this one, and the tech difficulties here, letting him cook up something maybe for this defensive round. Because like you said, this is a tough one to defend. Curious how they'll manage it. If they'll play aggressive, sort of counter the aggression with aggression, which has been a bit of a toss-up for them so far.
Yeah, and again, it comes back to that equipment.
Yeah.
You know, if you push, and that's great. But obviously, Marsoc's going to be throwing down their smokes and their frags, trying to get the early picks. And you know, you really just got to beat them to the line. And you know, there is actually, I think, literally a line in the middle of cargo that they do have to actually beat them to. And I think, you know, it's going to come down to that. We've seen a lot of great SMC grenades and smoke placements. And some of Ember's just have not been finding that same purchase. So I think once they get into a groove and possibly after taking this defensive round, if they do, we may see that shift.
Thank you for tuning in and waiting around with us through our timeouts and difficulties. If you are stopping in, don't be afraid to hit that follow button, because there is consistently casted games here. Noman, one of our newer additions into the fold, he'll be soon enough hosting games of his own, and so we'll have a little more coverage coming out there. Looking forward to seeing those games as well. And also hit that subscribe button. If you have Twitch Prime, make sure you're using that. And get a sweet new emote these days. It's a coveted one. You can use that anywhere on Twitch, anywhere you desire, not just here.
That is right, and it is a very fancy one. You're gonna be the talk of the stream. Using that.
You can spread the word of Dante to all people. Okay, I don't understand. I don't think you understand the gravity, the responsibility as a subscriber that you have once you receive this emote. Either way, it is going to lead. We are going to lead into our 5th round. I don't think any caps have come out.
Yes, that is correct. It's going to be our 5th round. We're going to be seeing SMC try to close this game out, and Ember try to hold on to this defensive round and stop this this war machine.
Uh-oh, Craze tried to cross again, and he got picked off by Pwnecake. Milkman did manage to find Sickness, though, so it is a 4v4, and Craze is resable, and I think they can get him. Oh, there's the confirm from Pwnecake, though. Soda picking up Milkman. We're into a 4v3 now. Things could get bad here if SMC starts to get aggressive.
And we're seeing some of those grenades come out. They're not quite finding what they're supposed to find, but Pwnecake moves up, does find Rob on the objective. Makes that call out, and we're down to a 4v2.
Oh my gosh, another.
Wow, and a grenade followed by a pick in Pwnecake's favor. Takes that round for SMC in 45 seconds. 45 seconds.
I think we've had faster, which is absurd. But Pwnecake right there, finding all kinds of insane shots. I mean, that was a real nice play from him. That nade toss with a quick shot on the corner. Wow.
And that was a sight to behold, that's for sure. I think that brings Pwnecake up into the 11 kill range. I think that was.
No, that was, we were talking, Landon had 9. But what's ridiculous there is that Pwnecake had 8 that round. So Landon with 9, Pwnecake with 8. I mean, these two guys absolutely dominating for their team. And we are going to go into quarantine for our 3rd map.
Yes. That's going to be one prediction for Noman, one call out.
Put it on
record
the board.
to show. Yeah, record. Let the record state.
I'm just thankful that we don't have another Voodoo Witch Doctor on the casting team, because frankly, Buxton's curses are all I can handle.
Oh yeah, I might have. I invoked his name, he who shall not be named, earlier.
Oh, that's I like that. Okay.
You don't want to do that.
You're right.
That's
very true. I might be in trouble now. I might be in trouble. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
I had a prediction, and I had invoked the name and said Great Apes were gonna put up some points against Vikings earlier today in that button cup match, and ooh, boy, was I called out wrong there. So
Wow,
definitely.
so you're telling me it transcends. Wow, that's quite the power.
Yeah, it's infectious. Yeah, you definitely.
Oh no. I've been doing a lot of co-casts with him. That's not good for me.
Just don't say his name, you know. And I here I'm with my caster. Go ahead.
The cursed one.
Yeah, definitely want to be careful with that one, but let's see. So what do you expect here on this quarantine round, having seen these two maps previously, I should say?
Well, we were talking earlier about how, you know, this is going to be a learning experience for these teams, at least for Blaze, and I think Blaze has to come into this map.
Ember,
sorry,
Ember.
wow, getting sorry, the Fire. I'm getting Phoenix, Ember, and Blaze all mixed up today. It's a real disaster.
That's okay. I think I know which people are on which team, so that's why I'm here. That's why I joined, just for this cast.
We got you here. But yeah, it's definitely a good chance for Ember to learn, and I think they got to take this map seriously. They can't throw it away and just play casually. You got to play at your top sort of form, as competitive as you can be. So I don't know. It could be interesting. I think SMC. I feel like this is a harder map to play aggressively. So I'm curious if they will be playing as forward as they have been on the other maps. But I think this is maybe a chance for Ember to sort of lessen the MMR blow, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually kind of surprised that SMC is not subbing anyone out for this map either. We're going to see the same 5 starters for this one as we go into the first round of map 3 here in this SMC Ember game.
That is interesting. You know, they're a team that does use these opportunities to learn as well. They'll typically bring in people to make sure their full roster is bolstered with experience, but no subs for them, no rotations in here. Maybe they just didn't have anyone else available.
Yeah, scheduling is difficult. We're going to see some action here with Captain Soda and Durafen, and the action ends very quickly. Durafen taken out completely. Captain Soda still revivable, and Pwnecake is going to make that reality.
I have south covered BP. Rotate to middle burning, please.
Yeah, and look at this. SMC Tactical are not playing passively. They are getting aggressive. Soda taking that rooftop position, finds Quokka out on the rotation. Sickness pushing up into this tank courtyard area. Ember is going to get squeezed pretty soon.
Yeah, as soon as that Durafen pick came out, SMC noted the spawn, called it out, and really have started playing basically an offensive position here on all sides. And they're tightening the noose on this offense that's stranded out on that east side.
Yeah, this is a strategy I've seen them taking up more often as the league's developed, and it's something that Globochem sort of pioneered. Once they find that early pick, they just start to push, and it just denies any sort of chance for Marsoc to come back. Rob here can't even rotate over to get shot by Sickness before he gets shot by Soda. Completely surrounded. SMC go up 1-0.
Yeah, that was quite a round for Ember, not able to make any sort of inroads to a place where SMC was not already watching. You know, they had eyes on pretty much within within tens of seconds there, and that's tough. That's tough. I was surprised not to see a lot of smokes for the crosses on the north and south streets. But once the defense took that rooftop, it really doesn't even matter if you throw those smokes. You can pretty easily see around them.
Did have one from Ember disconnecting here, so.
Well, there's something to be said for reliable internet connections. Hard to find these days.
Yeah, that is very true. You've had quite the inauguration into casting as well. Quite the series of tech difficulties. I think we may be. Oh, I don't know, Noman. It's bad news, buddy. It's bad news.
Ooh, is it because I work in tech support?
Oh,
tech support. That's what it is.
Okay, we can't add any. I'm not going to say anything. We're not going to start anything. We're not going to start anything.
Don't.
Everything's been
Not
great.
on my
Everything's
first
great.
day.
I know. Yeah. We can't have another.
This-
Can't have another Buxton. It's not.
Yeah. This. Oh, you said
That's
his name.
twice, dude. Okay, one more. We're in trouble, dude.
The Bloody Mary of Onward.
Gosh.
Playing a dangerous
Wow,
game
yeah.
night.
It resets every cast, right? I hope so.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, I wasn't affected by it. I haven't said his name yet, and my predictions so far have
Oh my
been
gosh,
relatively on point.
I'm
So
rubbing-
anyway, we're gonna kick off this next round here. As a result, so I'm curious to see if Ember's defense is going to be quite as aggressive. I can't imagine that it's going to rival what SMC had just put up, but
Do they realize they only
yeah.
have 4 in their spawn?
they do seem to be playing with a man down.
I wonder if they're just
Correct.
opting for that.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on what the connection issue was, but we'll never know. And
Well, dude, I mean, this is
Okay.
what we talked about it earlier. They used their timeout already. Maybe they just don't have the option to delay any longer.
that is entirely possible.
Durafen's here, though. He should find Soda. Beefy with the refrag on the hill. A couple going down early. It's a 3v4. Durafen can definitely pick up more here if Ponecake doesn't deny him.
Mr. Beefy and Rob not seeing each other despite being relatively on the same plane. Rob looking the other way, Beefy watching down towards center burning, not catching any of this rooftop action. Rob actually looking in that direction and not finding him, and pays the price.
The peek and trade from Durafen and Ponecake. Both of them resable on the roof, but that doesn't do Quokka any good. Especially considering he's the only one near objective, the only one left alive, and SMC have 2 relatively close.
Yeah, and he's not in a great position
No.
to defend this approach from the courtyard. I'm kind of surprised at his positioning anyway, although I suppose that is where he heard the bullets last. Landon is making his way slowly towards this position, and Beefy does find Quokka from that white car position after quite a long time of staring at him and giving SMC Tactical that second round.
Oh, I wonder if he had spotted him early and was sort of just maybe waiting to see if a cap was an option. I'm frankly surprised that he did take the shot. They had 2. I guess the objective was across the street, though, right?
It was, yeah, and he wasn't watching the south side approach, but again,
That would've
I
been
don't think
tough.
they knew that was the case, yeah.
Well, they opt into the 4v5. It doesn't quite work out for them. SMC now up 2-0. This could be a nice little chunk of change for them. Talking about MMR gains. It won't be big, like you're saying. The difference in ranking will sort of negate any huge MMR swing. But if you can manage to grab all the points, you know, if you can go 5-0, 4-1, and then get yourself another 4 or 5 this round, that's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, it definitely makes you feel good about the preparation you've had going into the match, and, you know, sort of validates your practice for the week, and it feels good. And, you know, as much as I want Ember to turn it on here, you know, sometimes you just don't find it right away, and especially when you're down a man, it's kind of hard to find that special sauce.
Yeah. Yes, it is. They did.
Okay, we're gonna be seeing the gas station objective here.
There's some possibilities
one-
for sure. Sickness.
There's a quick spawn as well.
Oh. Wow, SMC getting a little over aggressive. Landon ending up getting picked, but Ponecake with the refrag. On the cross, Soda with a long angle onto Rob. Now Durafen and his teammate, the last 2 alive for Ember. They're trying to take on 4 from SMC, and they're starting to converge around this spawn here. Beefy is going to be flanking from that tanker courtyard, and not going to find anything just yet because you're going to have to converge and push a little harder.
But I mean, you can tell that this is a practice maneuver. They know their spots. They know where they're going. Beefy finding Quokka in the far distance there in the hill, and then cleaned up by Sickness on the call out. And wrapping that up is Sickness with Dura.
Yeah, they are really, I mean, pushing as Volk. Once they find a pick early, they sort of converge. And even, you know, I think they were pushing that spawn already, which was interesting. Landon had already gone up to the ambulance and was downed there before they even knew where the spawn was. So, I don't know, SMC just playing very aggressive on Volk. It gets them the round.
Yeah, and I think one of the major factors there is that spawn is very much Volk favored. I mean, Volk is generally favored on a lot of these maps, but the south approach on almost any of these objectives is, you know, historically a death trap. There's very few places where you can sort of hide behind. There's really not a lot of obstacles there. You know, you got the office building and maybe a car or a rock here and there. But you're not going to find any sort of, you know, windows or ledges or walls to sort of hide behind. So it's a very difficult Marsoc approach, and I think that's one of the reasons SMC attacked it so aggressively there. Okay, let's see if
they can defend.
Let's see if we can put another point on the board for Ember. Again, you know, speaking to that Volk advantage, let's see exactly how advantageous it is, especially with them being a man down right now.
See what they're capable of as a squad. They're still feeling loose. Sturfen dancing around here before the spawn, so it's good to see the communication. They are still taking it pretty seriously, even though there was only 4 available. That's nice to see.
Yeah, if you don't have fun, the game becomes twice as difficult. No matter how many people you've got on your team, you gotta make sure you're still enjoying yourself. It is a game after all. Durfan taking a very risky cross, and paying for it there.
Kwoka just dumping LMG rounds onto the roof.
Not quite the result he wanted, I'm sure. Sickness throwing out smokes towards the objective. One of them is going to be a little too far to be effective, but he is able to cross the street since nobody's watching.
It's not a bad one to deny that if it was just a little bit shorter. But yeah, look at the conversions from SMC. One getting traded there, Sickness and Milkman. He'll be resable on that corner. Wouldn't be surprised if they're going to go for the cap here. Ponecake's going to have Pad out. They're suppressing Rob on the corner. Ponecake's got to be a little bit quieter here. He's capping. Rob doesn't know.
Rob, no idea. No idea. Throwing a frag out a little bit too late, and SMC takes that round with a cap, going up 5-0 in the final map of this series. Wow. Wow, Knight.
I mean, we talk about min-maxing your opportunities here, and SMC Tactical taking full use of that 4-5 advantage, grabbing a pretty easy cap after finding 2 picks. I mean, I didn't even know you could actually cap on that corner, though. I haven't seen anybody do that. And that was textbook, too. They suppressed him nicely. That was just a nice cap to round off the series.
Yeah, unfortunately, I knew all too well of that spot. I think it was actually SMC that did that same thing in our Blaze match a couple of weeks ago. So, but yeah, wow, what a showing on Quarantine here! Just absolutely, you know, running over Ember's offenses and defense, and getting them a very clean 5-0 on that last map.
Yeah, that brings our total score for the series 14-1. SMC Tactical being the victors. It's not quite what we expected, you know. I was anticipating a bit more of a tighter series. We did have some very tight rounds. Ember was on the cusp of grabbing more than just one, you know. I think it could have been a lot closer.
Yeah, that was something we were talking about with Sleepy in the other game. Is it's hard to show effort on a scoreboard with just 2 numbers. You know, it's games may look lopsided when the scores come out, but when you watch it, you realize that there was a lot of tense moments, a lot of decision making there that could have affected the outcomes of the matches in either direction.
I think that's gonna be it for us today. If you are interested in joining the Onward Master League, please head over to Onward, VRMasterleague.com/Onward. And over there you can register a squad, register a team, register yourself as a reservist if you just want to come in and sub. You can find the Twitch links, Discord. All the information you need is there. Highly recommend you go stop by if you're not part of the Master League squads already. Good stuff. I've really enjoyed being a part of the team since the start. It's been real fun.
Yeah, the community is fantastic. Can't say anything bad about anything that's happening right now. Lots of exciting stuff happening, like we mentioned earlier with the new content update, and there's going to be a lot more exciting stuff coming in the weeks to come.
Well, yeah, and that's something we should definitely be bringing up here as we wrap things up for the Master League. Onward is free to play this weekend, so if you were just tuning in and don't own the game, get in there and play. You know, a new game mode has been released, a big new patch has just come out. All sorts of fun new stuff has been tossed in there, and now's the time to test it out and see if you like how it's played.
Yeah, absolutely. I second that motion wholeheartedly.
And with that, I think we will sign off. That is it from us. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. My co-caster, Noman with a 4, I guess is what we'll go with, because Sleepy's 2 3s, you're a Noman with the 4. We did someone with a 5 in their name. We're off to the races.
I'll keep my eye out.
All right, thank you. That'll be it from us. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.